It's your boy Coach Defense here. Thanking you for supporting the channel. Become a lockdown defender by hitting that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And if you're enjoying your time, hit that like button. Help us grow in the community. Now check out our latest video. Leave a comment. And as always, you got to step up to lock it down. So we're going to take a ride out to LA. We're going to visit Chargers Corner again this week. And like I said, we're not going to belabor the point anymore. Let's get right to it. Justin Herbert news, and everything else going on in Chargers camp for week 3. So the Chargers as a franchise, they have not been having a good week. Let's start there. We haven't been having a good week, to say the least. Not having a good week. Justin's injury, is going to sideline for at least 2 weeks with his plantar fasciitis ligament in his right foot. He's currently in the walking boot for those 2 weeks at least, and they're going to assess and reassess his injury during that time frame. Which isn't great news for the team when you have a new everything, from a staff perspective. New head coach, new OC, new wide receivers, new right tackle, new running backs, you name it.
Right? Just call them the new Chargers.
That's it, brand new. And the only thing is mainstay is the right tackle and the quarterback, right? So
and the equipment manager.
Right. So while this injury isn't expected to be long term. It's happening at a pivotal time when you're trying to build chemistry with your new team. That being said, I hope that the Chargers err on the side of caution and let this injury heal properly and don't rush him back. Because there's always that trepidation about him being on the field when things aren't going right. And I'll be honest, I've seen reports in the last few days since he's been hurt, and the Easton Stick-led offense hasn't been doing anything. So that pressure, him being there, it's just from a personality standpoint. You look at it. Just from a player perspective, you're like, I'm in this boot, I can't play. The offense is stagnant. They're not moving the ball. They're not doing anything. I got to get myself back on the field so this can get better, right? So he has that pressure. But I'm hoping that him and the training staff and the organization as a whole decide that it's better to play the long game and keep him out as long as possible to heal that injury up properly, or versus rushing him back and trying to get him on the field as soon as possible. So we'll see how things go. But they did sign a quarterback today from the UFL. I got to do some research on him, but they did bring him in. They let a guy go, outside linebacker, to make room for him on the roster. So he's going to come in. But again, he's got to learn from ground zero. He hasn't been here. So he's learning on the fly. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be involved in the first preseason game. So he's going to need a week or so of practice before he can get any, skin, in the offense and say that I'm going to be able to do anything remotely close to playing at the position. So, looking at Max Duggan, I would like to believe that
Max Duggan.
I would like to believe that he's a better option, but he's third on the depth chart. And he's third on the depth chart for a reason. Even in Harbaugh's conversation, he does not believe that Easton Stick, which is odd to me because a lot of people is better Easton Stick at this point, and that's a whole nother conversation. That's another PTSD moment for me, but it is what it is. But just sticking to the script of what's been going on, with the Chargers. Like I said, Justin's hurt. We got Easton Stick running offense and Max Duggan and Casey Bauman, and now we get this new guy. This hasn't been pretty offensively since that happened. But like I said, just do what's best for Justin's overall health and have him play most of the season rather than going week to week, whether or not, whether or not feeling like whether or not that foot's going to give out. That's a life I don't want to live. I don't want to live wondering every time he runs or gets pressured or gets hit on that leg, is that going to be it? I don't want to live like that. I want that leg to be fully healed as much as possible. But we'll see how things go.
Yeah.
But again, that goes back to my overall problem, and the overarching problem I've had for the Chargers for the last 3 seasons, and not investing in a quality backup quarterback. They keep banging their head against this Easton Stick, idea, and I don't get it. I don't see why we have been keep bringing him back even when his contract was up, when there were better options out there, in my opinion. Almost makes me gag at the idea they even re-signed him. And we've seen what he was. He had half a season's worth of play.
Half a season.
Justin Herbert got hurt last year. We went out with injury, so you saw what he was. So it's clearly, not good. It's not pretty. It's not pretty, and and we have to go through a whole another preseason with that. It's very off-putting. to say the least. It's very off-putting, but that's what we're dealing with. Like I said, and I would like to see what Duggan can do, and hopefully he gets a chance in the preseason. But I feel like they squandered his development a little bit with Staley and his regime. But and maybe Harbaugh can get some more out of him. He knows him well from college, so hopefully that or the new kid they brought in can bring some life to this. But it's not a happy moment when you go into the preseason game knowing that the offense is gonna look like crap because the quarterback play isn't right. But it is what it is. Again, but nonetheless, you got to roll with the punches. It's not great, but overall, we see what's happening. Justin's not going to be there for the preseason, and we'll just have to go from there. But that particular news, and then Joey Bosa got a little bit of a hand and wrist injury, so there's that. So he's been held out of practice. Junior Colson hadn't made it back yet from his appendicitis. He's still working on the side. Kamani Vidal and Ladd McConkey had been in and out of the lineup, so they're a little banged up. So we have that. But overall, I mean, it's nothing traumatic from injury perspective outside of Justin's foot. So I guess just some banging and bruising, but nothing detrimental, highly detrimental to the effect of what has been going on in the previous years where we had guys go down for the season and preseason, which knock on wood, it does not happen. So we'll see how things go. But I mean, it's a little nicks and bruises, but nothing seriously, that's going to derail anything from a developmental standpoint so far. But getting to the joint practice we had with the Rams, it was some positives that came out of there, at least from a defensive perspective. Christian Fulton has been showing up and showing out, and like I hope he would. He's been causing havoc. Aloy Gilman has been doing some things. We've seen that. The pass rush has been before Joey got hurt. Obviously, the pass rush has been showing up. Now, I would say that Khalil Mack is going to be Khalil Mack. He's going to do what he does. So that's not a problem. But overall, I mean, it was a spirited practice. Nobody really dominated on either side. We had some highs and lows for both teams. Joe Alt had his hands full with the Florida State boys. I definitely will say that he had some times and some battles with Brandon Fisk and Jared Verse, who we both love. Kurt, we both love Jared Verse coming out of FSU as the edge rusher, and Brandon Fisk, his teammate, they both getting drafted together. So that was wild. But their teammates, so they lined up against him in several different reps, and they had their wins and stalemates and losses, and it was interesting. It was definitely interesting, from that perspective. But I guess you can say overall, from a synopsis of what Joe Alt has been at right tackle so far, I guess you can say the transitioning is going well. He's not a Pro Bowler just yet, but I think that everybody feels in the room, in the building, that he's progressing. He's progressing in the right direction to be a good right tackle. That's positive. And I guess the last bit of news that I want to report, and this might be the last time I say this because I'm just tired of reporting on it, to be honest, is Quentin Johnson is still up to his old tricks. Still not catching the ball at a high clip, and I think he's starting to fall out of favor with the current regime, in my opinion. He's starting to drift in the depth chart, drifting his reps. I'm not seeing any clips of him good or bad at this moment. That kind of tells me we don't see anything about a guy that he's just not faring well at all, and they're kind of leaning out of that particular space and saying that maybe we need to go in a different direction. But the times Ladd McConkey's been out there, and Brendan Rice, who we've been kind of keeping an eye on, he's been doing well. I do like what we're getting out of him. So it's just a matter of who's going to really take the lead and be that favorite target for this offense. Will be the overall question. Especially once Justin gets back finally. I mean, that's the biggest thing. But not having your franchise quarterback is a black eye, but black eyes heal. So we'll see how things go, man. But I think overall, I think that we just got some growing pains to get through Justin's injury, and then we'll be fine. After that, it just depends on exactly what the offense and the defense look like once he does get back. But I did hear some great things from practice and joint practice perspective from Christopher Fulton on that outside. So he's looking pretty good. So we'll see how things go, man. But DZ, man, listen, I want to see Colson out there. I can't wait to see him when he finally gets there. And this whole Quentin Johnson thing, again, we worry about Ladd's durability, yes, but again, I'm pretty much my stock is almost sold. I'm almost ready just to go ahead and just sell it low. They say don't sell stock low, But I'm almost point to the point where I want to sell my Quentin Johnson stock low and just get him out the building because it was just a waste. It was just a waste. Again, that goes back to my original point about him. If as a receiver, as a pro receiver, if your main issue is catching the football, that is a deal breaker. That is a big time deal breaker for me. But again, he's a first round pick, so it's not easy to say I want to give up on him. But listen, sometimes you just gotta cut your losses, man. Again, I don't see it getting better because I think it's a confidence thing. I think it's in his head now. I think that he's having issues with his mental focus when it comes down to catching the football. When the times get tough, when people put your hands on you and they have contact with you, you're fighting with DBs and all that kind of stuff. I think it gets different for him. He can catch it on air, but when the pass come on and people are touching you, a whole different ball game.
Oh, listen, I know how near and dear Quentin is to you. I know how much
no, he's not.
I know how much he
right now, what you're doing. You're trolling me right now. Yeah.
I know how much when you see him lined up at that exposition that he brings a thrill to you and you rave about his capabilities. So
listen,
yeah.
It's not even me. You don't get DZ upset. You don't get DZ upset. He might listen. He's American too. He's not too far from us. He might be like, "Look, Kurt, you got to meet me somewhere. We got to have a talk."
We about to throw hands. We about to throw hands. We about to throw hands.
Have a strong conversation, if nothing else.
Listen,
conversation. So
I think
I'm not a fan at all.
Here's what's crazy: the two players that were on that national championship team are reunited.
Can't get no snaps. I love that. On a Jim Harbaugh team, who they beat.
On a Jim Harbaugh team, but I listen. Rice has a good shot to make the 53, which makes okay. Yeah, now that I will say,
sign me up for that. Sign me up for that.
Yeah, now that I will endorse fully, and I do think that he has not only a chance to make the 53. I do believe that he could be your strong number 3.
I'm with it. Listen,
I think he could be a strong 3.
Johnson's spot right now for me. I would trust him way more lining him up with him, Ladd, and Josh versus Quentin being out there in any capacity.
Yeah, I just his frame, his build, what he's gone through,
his pedigree, his lineage, all of that. Sign me up for all of that.
I think he's hungry.
Yeah, he's hungry because he didn't get drafted as high as he thought he was going to be. So every single thing you give him rep wise, he's going to try to take full advantage of it.
Yeah.
So again, wish we can instill that in Quentin, we'd be fine. Because let's be real. I love Brennan, but the skill set that Quentin has, Brennan just don't have.
Oh, he's not taking the top off.
No, he doesn't have the speed. He doesn't have the yak ability, just the quickness, the short step area quickness. He don't have it. He's a great receiver. He's a great receiver, but he's more like his dad than he is, twitchy, right? He's a steady strider. He's a steady.
He's your third down.
Yeah, he's a steady.
He's your third down receiver.
And the more he works on it, the better of a polished route run he's going to be. But again, he's not a game breaker. Quinn could be a great game breaker from a skill set perspective, but he can't catch a damn football.
No. He can't catch water. He can't catch water jumping into a lake.
I'm saying. So again, just to close the chapter on this, like I said, Justin's injury is a big one. We want to err on the side of caution. Got a few nicks in camp. Guys are holding out on the air on the side of caution with a few nicks, but nothing major, which is good news. The joint practice went well, and Quentin Johnson's still struggling. Joe Aldis progressing, and Christian Fulton is ascending as a corner. Could be cornerback 1 by the time the preseason's over.
I always laugh with Joe Alt and your emotional roller coaster ride that you went with Joe Alt.
Listen, the first 2 years, the last 2 years, let me say the last 2 years of first round draft picks for me have been a roller coaster. I didn't want Quentin Johnson. I want Jack Smith-Njigba. He went a pick earlier. Then they got Quentin instead of Zay Flowers, who I won a second. They didn't. Zay Flowers went. Jordan Addison went. Tank Dell. I can go down a list of a bunch of receivers that I wanted over him, and they picked him. So it's almost like you hating a particular type of person and he ends up in your family. Like, it's, I don't like dog lovers, and your daughter marries a dog lover. It just, you don't like plants, and the guy's is a plant lover.
The botanist,
botanist, right.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So, and then Joe All-Pick. I mean, I wanted Malik Neighbors. I really wanted Marvin Harrison. Let's be clear. I wanted Marvin Harrison first, Malik Neighbors second. They didn't do either. Went out and got Joe Alt. And again, didn't make a lot of sense at the time because, again, we already had a left tackle. He's moving the right tackle. He looked like a duck out of water in the combine at right tackle. So I was scared. But outside of that, I love the rest of the draft. So that was one thing. And just the overall, again, just the riskiness of first round picks we've had in the past few years is really what kind of puts me off. And that's the only thing that's really bothering me, is the fact that we had to draft the left tackle and move him to right. I mean, everybody isn't Penei Sewell. Everybody isn't Penei Sewell.
That's facts.
Let's be clear. So sometimes people just don't pan out there, and he has Max Crosby week 1. Let's just put it out there. So it's gonna be trial by fire. Come game 1, it ain't gonna be no waiting. You're gonna see this pass rush early and often. So get ready, young man. And I hope he works out.
Listen, that is wild what you stated, but it's gonna be interesting when looking at it overall, of all those things you said. How much do they chip? How much do they give help? How much do they double team to support, or does he does he
hold his own? I mean,
does he hold his own?
Hey, I'm cool. If he holds his own against Max Crosby, I'm cool. That tells me that he's built for the moment.
Oh yeah, if he can do a push with Max, like you said, I ain't asking you to win, but if you can walk away from that game saying,
keep him on Justin's tail and we good.
But I do understand why you were saying that about Malik Neighbors, considering all the reports. Just quickly saying, when you say Malik Neighbors and looking at all the reports and what they're saying, what they're showing from the Giants, 9 passes thrown in one of the practices and he caught all 9. Hey,
Kane Corso. If
anybody that doesn't get, now anybody don't get it, just Google Kane Corso. You'll understand the reference.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, he says, don't put him get back 1-on-1 just yet. I agree.
No.
Right. Listen, Gus, Kimani, Isaiah, please watch Joe All's back. That's all I'm gonna say.
Right.
All I'm gonna say. But yeah, we're going to continue to cover the Chargers week to week, and we'll have a preseason game to break down from a coverage perspective next week as well. And we'll get back to seeing how these things are progressing. But I am liking what the defense is looking like. That's part of the bright spot. The defense is starting to come together and starting to come alive. So I'm liking what Jesse Miller's doing on that side of the ball. So if nothing else, I'm hoping to have positive vibes from the defense after week 1 preseason. All right.